bringing this into fruition. There are a lot of things that have been happening in Philadelphia, obviously, with the murder rate. One can deduce that we're all animals. I don't believe that. I live in Juniata, and when those 3 kids were shot and murdered, it was a struggle for me to convince the community that those were not other kids who were murdered. Those were our kids who were murdered.
Sure.
And we have to be in a space that no brown person, no Latino person will ever go hungry, homeless, or killed under our watch. So I think essentially that is our mission with this movement.
I want to say also that a lot of, I know by looking around that a lot of us work in community-based organizations as it is. And there's a reason why you work in those agencies. But you know, regardless of what we do, it always comes back to basic necessities and the basic needs. You know, some of our agencies have forgotten the reason why they started. If there's not a dollar attached to it, then we'll see what we can do for you. I worked at Congreso, I worked at a lot of the other agencies. One of the biggest things that I used to love to do and still do was to do outreach, go out, walk the streets. And it's one of the things that I kept, you know, with this that I would love to do is to go back to hitting the streets and going door to door and talking to people, reminding people from everything from the access they have to cleaning keeping their streets clean. The city offers brooms and shovels and brushes and trash bags and paint and everything every spring, and most people don't even take advantage of it to clean their neighborhoods. Some people don't know that it's available. You know, it's basic getting agencies to remember what the commitments that they made to the communities when they initially came in, reminding people that they have access to that, just going out, talking to people, getting that face-to-face contact again. You know, letting people know that they're not alone, letting people know that they have power, letting people know the importance of voting. People keep saying, you know, they don't understand what's happening with the school district. Well, most people didn't go out to vote the last elections because they didn't think it was important. Well, now we have a Republican in Harrisburg who doesn't give a crap about Philly because Philly's Democratic. He took $650 million away from the school district and gave it to people that he knows out in the suburbs to build more prisons. Obviously, we know who those prisons are for. You know, and we keep sitting back and saying, I don't know what I can do, I don't know what I can do, I don't know what I can do. And you know what? One person educates one person who educates another neighbor, and the same way that bochinche goes down the block, then the information needs to go down the block. We need to let people know, hey listen, you know what? What are you doing next weekend? How about we try to organize? How about we contact the city? How about we close up the street? How about we clean it and paint the graffiti and get the kids involved and take our community back? Just like, you know, Anna had said one time, one block at a time. You know, you do one block and get them to, you know, invite the next block and get people involved, because they're not going to give us anything. No one is going to give us a thing unless we fight for it. If we don't say, you know, I was doing a thing on violence recently. We're not even acknowledged as Latinos in this city. When you look at the statistics of murders and gunshots and everything in this city, black, white, Asian. You know, you have to literally go name by name and pick out the ones that sound Latino to get a tally of how many Latinos have been shot in this city. They don't acknowledge us. They just categorize as, well, he was black, he looked black to me, put him as black. He looked white, he was slant-eyed, he must be Asian, put him under Asian. You know, but we have to at some point, we have to get uncomfortable. And it's not even about getting uncomfortable in a bad way, but say, you know what? I'm going to skip going shopping on Saturday or I'm going to go walk the neighborhood. I'm going to take this Saturday to go knock on my neighbor's door and ask them, hey listen, what do you need? What are your basic needs? What are the things that you think we need in this community? Because if we don't get our own blocks together, if we don't get, you know, these kids that have killed and these kids that have gotten killed, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, I just finished doing, I work in the school district. I work for an organization called K Kids. We come into the schools to teach. I teach kindergarten through 12th grade. I just finished doing a class these last weeks with the kindergartners about the dangers of allowing people to approach you, what they call stranger danger. I get home and Ray Santiago says, you need to look at the news. Little girl got picked up by some guy, mom sent her to the store alone and got sexually assaulted. You know, how somebody didn't see this little girl get grabbed by some guy and dragged into a house. You know, I tell the kids all the time, you guys have created a mind your business mentality. Every time you ask me, yo, what's your, mind your business, mind your effing business. and people look the other way. You know, this is a prime example. The other day on the platform on the train, a baby carriage falls into the tracks. And everybody's like, oh my God, did you see that? Did you see that? And I said, no, what I saw was the guy that was standing with the coffee and the donut and just looked and watched the baby carriage fall. That's what I caught. It's not my baby. And he just looked. And you see him, he's just looking and watching it roll into the tracks. And I was like, wow. Not once, he didn't even think, let me drop the bagel with the coffee, whatever, and grab the... We need to get involved. We need to take our kids back. We need to take our communities back. We need, just like they said, basic needs. Does your neighbor have food? Does your neighbor have heat? Does your neighbor have a coat? Do you have, I mean, some of us have closets that are overflowing with stuff we don't even wear anymore. I don't know, I might wear it next week. I don't know, I don't want to throw it away. That used to be my favorite shirt. You know what? Put it in the bag. There's somebody down the street who needs it. You know, we all know of one child, at least one child, whose father's not around. He's probably locked up. Mom's probably down the street getting high. We already know that. When was the last time somebody said, yo kid, did you eat today? Are you hungry? You know, who are you staying with? Is everything all right at home? Listen, you know what? Whatever it is. But we have to, at some point, we have to, you know, one of the things that I learned here through LPI, we didn't get our classes in this beautiful building, but the classes were still amazing, was that we have a responsibility to our own communities. We have a responsibility to one Latino impacts, and it doesn't matter if you're from Puerto Rico, from Cuba, from the Dominican Republic. You know, is one Latino helping another Latino? You reach your hand out and you pull them up. So listen, let me help you. You know, we found a guy laying in last snowstorm, laying in the snow. I thought he was dead. From El Salvador. He lives on 69th and Girard. Got drunk and somehow ended up down here lost, and you know, was sleeping in the snow because he didn't know where else to go. You know, cops come. And lucky for me was a Latino cop, and he told me, listen, if you can take him, because if I take him and he doesn't have ID, you know what's going to happen. And I said, all right, bet. Took him to the train station. The guy at the train station looked and said, that's my friend, just put him on the train, he doesn't have to pay. I've seen him before. Wow. But most people drove past, and then I'm sure somebody saw him laying in the snow. But if we don't take the time, you know, if we don't get just our basic humanity back, and stop acting like the media says, like animals, we're not going to make it, guys. You know, I'm going to set it very clear. There's a huge gap between the haves and the have-nots, and that gap is going to continue to grow. And unless we start, you know, taking care of ourselves and looking out for each other, you know what? That Latino down the street that you refused to help last time, he's going to come in through your window. And he's going to take what you got because you're the closest one to him, and you have a little bit more than he has, and he wants it, and he's like, well, I don't know who else to rob. You got it, I need it, I'm going to take it from you. It's going to happen, guys. If we don't start to help each other, we're going to eat each other. Literally. So at some point, you know, we have to get uncomfortable. We have to give up the cup of coffee and give up the movies and give up whatever it is and say, today I'm going to take the day to do something for my neighbor. I mean, it's got to start somewhere. It's got to start somewhere. You know, we got plenty of marches in this city, and it pisses me off when I see the news, and no disrespect, because I think Will Smith is amazing, and I think, you know, Bill Cosby is amazing. But they come and they march, and, you know, they get their picture in the paper, and they get on the news, and they leave. And did what? Nothing. They got noticed, they got acknowledged, the community stayed the same. They didn't leave $100,000 and said, here, put that towards a community center, put that towards, you know, some type of rec center. They didn't do any of that. So what good does it do us? You know, we can get all the famous people we want to come and march with us. We can do all the marches we want. But if at the end of the march we go back and we do absolutely nothing, and we offer the parents nothing, and we offer the kids nothing, then next month we go to another funeral and we do another march. We got to start somewhere, guys. I can go on and on, trust me. We need to start somewhere.
So what do you want from the group? I think that's